Hi everyone, welcome back to Indonesian Student Channel. Continuing our Lean Management lecture, and today we will focus on Lean Principle. As usual, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Felita Vania. I come from Indonesia, and I am a fresh graduate master's student in RWTH Aachen, Germany, which has one semester abroad in Netherlands in Maastricht School of Management, and my major is Engineering and Management in Production System. I also have an industrial engineering background for my bachelor study in Swiss German University, Indonesia, which also offers one semester abroad program in FH Germany. I have done some internships in various industries, and some of them are shown in here. So, in this lecture, I want to share with you about Lean Principle. This Lean Principle will be more like a recipe to improve efficiency of a process. It gives you a step-by-step in how to do it. However, there will be more Lean tools that can be applied or adopted for improving a process. But in this lecture, we will focus only on Lean principles. First, I'm going to show you these two men. Do you have an idea who they are? And why am I showing them? This is James P. Womack and Daniel T. Jones. They are the founder of Lean Enterprise Institute and writers of these books, The Machine That Changed the World and Lean Thinking. So according to them, there are 5 Lean principles, starting from identifying value, mapping value stream, creating flow, establishing pool, and seeking perfection. In this lecture, we want to discuss all of these 5 steps and focusing one by one, starting from identifying value. In identifying value, we have to know first what value is. Value is something that the customer wants to pay you for. So this step is very critical. So all of the employees or all of your team members should be on the same page that this is your value. So at the end, you won't lose your value while optimizing your process. So if the value cannot be easily discovered and the customer don't even know what they really want, we can conduct a survey, interview, or demographic analysis. But if there are some teams or departments that don't produce direct values to the customer, for example, quality assurance department, they might asking, who is our customer? So their customer is actually their own company. So for example, for quality assurance department, they find defects and they ensure that the whole company deliver good quality products. After value is identified, we start mapping the value stream. Mapping value stream means mapping all processes starting from the beginning until the end. So it can be a business process starting from order comes in from the customer until the order is finished and the product is delivered to the customer. Or it can be for more specific processes, for example, hiring process in HR department or assembly process in production line. In this lecture, I want to show you the coffee shop process. We can see in here, in the value stream, we can clearly see the flow of material and information. Not only that, we can also see the non-value added activity, like 10 minutes, and 1 minute. It is actually a waste that we already discussed it in the previous lecture about type of waste in Lean. So in this process, we find the waste of waiting. So we can see the total lead time and the total processing time is very different. 24.5 minutes and 3.5 minutes. So the total lead time is already include the waste of waiting. And It's categorized, of course, as non-value added activity. But non-value added activity are divided into two. It could be non-value added but necessary, or non-value added and unnecessary. The example for non-value added but necessary is inspecting the quality of a product to ensure that the company deliver good quality products. But the example for non-value added and unnecessary is like ways of transport, for example, moving to another workstation to take a screwdriver. So from here, we can really see that non-value added activity but necessary needs to be reduced only and not eliminated, while the non-value added and unnecessary one should be eliminated. So from value stream mapping, we can actually easily find out the non-value added activity, so we can decide which activity needs to be kept, needs to be reduced for the time, or should be eliminated. In order to make this value stream mapping, you can take a look at our process mapping online lecture. The link will be provided below in the description, and try to check them out so you can really understand how to make this and how to read this better. After removing the non-value added activities or reducing it, we can create a smoother flow. So this time, the flow needs to be ensured that it goes without any delays, bottlenecks, or any other interruptions. But actually, this is the ideal one. In real life or in practice, we rarely see a process without any interruptions. So we need to improve it for a bunch of times until the waste can be removed. But ensuring the flow is necessary to get a balance, cost reduction, and the increment of performance. You remember the benefit of lean is about balancing both of these two. So this step plays a big role to achieve this goal. And this example of the optimized flow from the coffee shop process, I propose by increasing the number of employees. So we can see in here 3 cashiers, 6 barista from 1 cashier and 1 barista. And we can see the total time reduced until it becomes 6.5 minutes, which is a significant improvement, right? So this smooth flow can be done by reducing the delays and bottlenecks. But in order to reduce the delays and the bottlenecks, we have various ways, not only increasing the number of employees, but for example, breaking down process steps, balancing the workload for a step, adding number of employees like we did in our coffee shop process, or training employees to be more adaptive and multi-skilled, or creating cross-functional departments, and many other solutions. So after the flow is improved and process time is reduced, output is increased, then pull system can be performed. For those of you who are still confused the difference between pull and push system, now let's take a look about the difference. I will just explain it in short. So in pull system, you only produce when there is demand comes in. So the company starts to produce the product, which can be seen from the material flow in here that goes from company to the demand, which is the customer. And in push system, the company will forecast the demand and then start ordering the production to produce their products or services. Each of these systems actually have their own advantages and disadvantages. So some companies or organizations might need to combine this system to balance their process or to increase their efficiency. But back to our topic, in fourth step of lean principle, establishing pool. So this pool system is recommended in here because the company can reduce the inventory costs and the stockpile material, for example, in their warehouse. Furthermore, waste of overproduction can be prevented. So establishing pool means companies or organizations can simply just producing their products or services where demands comes in. The last step is seeking perfection. This step is very important. So after we conduct the first to the fourth step, this seeking perfection means doing in the lean thinking and continuously improving their process. So this step might lead you to a little better process each and every day. So this seeking perfection can be done by repeating the 4 steps in the beginning: identifying value, mapping value stream, creating flow, establishing pool, and back to seek perfection. But there is also another way in how to deal with the seeking perfection. Some methods are actually already developed, but one of them is PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. To sum up, lean implementation can be started by these 5 lean principles. But you might need to take time in order to adjust and try to find the best way to implement it in your company or organizations or your team. These lean principles provide you a concept or a logic to increase the efficiency or the effectiveness of a process. And with the help of these lean principles, your company or your organizations can increase the value and even remain competitive. So that's all about our lean principles. And as usual, I provide a case study which you can take your time and try to read and find the solution. Feel free to pause the video. So I assume you already paused the video, and now let's discuss the answer to the case study. So since we learned about lean principles, so we want to implement the lean principles. So starting with identifying the value. The value in the supermarket, I would say about waiting time. So can you imagine that you are doing your daily groceries, or you just need to buy a bottle of water, and in front of you in the cashier there are 3 people, all of them doing their monthly groceries, which means you need to wait quite a long time to just pay the water that you want to buy. It's only a bottle of water. So I would say the value for the supermarket would be waiting time. It could be any other things that you want actually, but let's just say waiting time in here, and we discuss this value. After we identify the value, we map the value stream and we analyze all the processes, let's say more specific in the cashier. From this value stream, we can easily find the waiting time and another ways that could appear there. It could be ways of motion or ways of transport of the employee. We have to analyze with the value stream and then we can find it out. So after mapping the value stream, we create a smoother flow. In this step, I propose a self-service cashier for those of you who buy less stuffs, or for those of people who buy only daily groceries, which needs only less time to pay. And still having a normal cashier for those of you who do a monthly groceries. And by this combination, we can create a smoother flow. The next step would be establishing pool. So in the pool system, I recommend one person to tackle all the problems in the self-service area. So it could be actually another employee from the normal cashier going to the self-service area and try to deal with the problems that the customer have there. But if the supermarket is quite full, for example, in the rush hour in the evening or in the weekends, then the queue in the normal cashier will take longer. So I suggest the supermarket hire one more employee just in the self-service area, let's say only in the rush hour or in the weekends. And the last step would be seeking perfection, which means we repeat the same steps that we already done and try to improve another thing until we can find better and better efficiency in the process in the supermarket. And here are the references that I use for this lecture. And as always, you can easily find it in the internet for more detailed explanations if you still want to find it out. I hope this lecture is clear enough for you. And that's all. Thank you, and I wish you a nice day. See you in the next lecture.